Namaste. And I was just seeing you coming up, and it's just so good to see the friends that we are, and friends coming, joining us. Some that we have seen recently, some that we haven't seen for a while, and it's just a delight to have this felt sense of fellowship and this intentional purpose that we're all engaged in one way or the other. So welcome to this session, which is really a session for give you some preview and information, and then open for any questions that you have about the Global Training Program Phase 3 that will be starting in October, but we do have a deadline for applications, which is September 5th. So that's why we're doing this information session now. So today, I put some slides together, so help me to keep me on track. And just to lay the ground of this phase of the program. And then I'm hoping that we'll have at least half an hour to open for your questions and your sharings and whatever you want to bring into the space. But first, I would like to start today by reading a couple of verses of the Gita that actually speaks directly to our intention in this phase 3. And we'll do our best to do a smooth coordination here with Gitananda, who is supporting us in the AV side. So you all saw a tree as you joined this meeting. And that's what I'm going to read. That is the logo for our GTP. And there is an intention for every logo that we brought this year in every phase of the GTP. And I'm going also to speak a little bit about the overall arch, because when we began the GTP this year, and there is a resonance to previous years, one builds into another. But there was a wave because we were in a transition. It was very clear December of last year when Satri gave some satsang on the peril and the transition that we are on a momentum. So this year, the GTP have been purposefully planned to actually go somewhere, or maybe nowhere, come here. But there was an intention arch for that. And I want to bring that so you have that broader view of from where we start and what we're intending. So I invite you to really be in your body, come to your body, be here, connect with each other, connect to us, and really open your system as I read this couple of verses of the Gita. I'm getting really old, so I need glasses these days. So from chapter 15, Purushottama Yoga, the Yoga of the Supreme Being. The Blessed Lord said, "This eternal tree is said to be imperishable, with its roots above and branches below, whose leaves are the hymns of the Vedas. One who knows the truth of this tree is a true knower. Nurtured by the three gunas, the branches of this tree spread both below and above. Sense objects are its foliage. The roots, which also spread in both directions, bind the being with actions in this world of matter." So the intention for this phase 3, in a nutshell, one who knows the truth of this tree is a true knower. It's for us to explore the principles of manifestation, the principles that direct and govern this creation. And that's the tree. And that's why we have a tree for phase 3. Has a different flavor then phase 1 and phase 2, and I speak briefly about that. If you go further in this chapter of the Gita, it speaks about we cutting this tree with the sword of the dispassion and reside on the supreme abode. But the Gita was written millenniums ago. Now it's time, what we're being asked to do, and that's the call, is the cry of the mother, is for us to bring the consciousness, the supreme consciousness, into this tree. This tree, in one sense, is our body. It's to balance spirit and matter, and in this way, lifting the consciousness of matter and lifting the humanity. So that's where we're going with GTP3, at least is our deepest intention. And, in this dimension, repetition is the key. But once we set an intent that is aligned with the original intent, it bears fruits. Our own job is to have the willingness and just showing up. So with that, I just ask Gitananda to start with the first slide. And just to give a broader context, like I said, about what was in our hearts when we first started the GTP1 and then GTP2, and now we're rolling over the GTP3. So for those that were not part of this year's sequence, and many of you were, basically in GTP1 is a foundational phase. It's a very important phase. Actually, it's one of my favorite. And this year's GTP1, we explore the 6 core capacity of Satri's teaching. They're gems. If we can get the 6 core capacity, 95% of the work is done. But we can't just get it, we need to embody it, because it's a constant exploration, is a constant, we're being constantly asked to live it, to embody those capacities. And in GTP1, we're called to bring an intention of the incarnation force. And those of you that are part of GTP1, our intention is to open to the incarnation force, the consciousness that really intervenes in creation. And, we can see how much chaos is happening everywhere. And it has to happen. So a new consciousness can be born here. It's already here. It's just a matter of fact of we going through these transitional times. Then GTP1, we ask you to hold space. Get out of the way. Get in touch with something that's higher than our personality and our ego. Because in that intentional holding of space, you can actually feel that Sat force just acting through you in that holding. And the Sat force will always do a better work than any ego or personality can do. It just creates in this space impact. But we need to become dynamic, right? That is a passive kind of role. So when we brought the GTP2 was the manifestation. So we asked more of you, where you bring that divinity in you with the person of you. So we introduced, and that was our logo, was the Supreme Being. Actually, the golden color is once truth comes into creation, comes into the God plan, and actually the God plan has a golden light. Instead of the bright white that is almost bluish, that is more of the truth dimension. So in the GTP phase 2, we ask more of you. On top of holding the space and applying the 6 core capacity, we brought the keystones of the Bhagavad Gita. Many of you probably have the guide and remember that. And as practice, on top of holding the space, you partook in presentation of study groups where you brought your flavor to what resonates with you on those teachings. So there's more that you brought that came to the person of you. And we brought the mentoring skills and the elementals as a new addition this year, and also the meditation, Word Peace meditation. And really the goal was to provide all the participants opportunity to actually play that function where you can get in touch with the truth that you are. And the intention that came about for the manifestation for the phase 2 was the Supreme Being, the new humanity, the new Dharma. It's all towards this new humanity, this new Dharma. And we saw in many, many, many groups, in many of you, becoming a channel of the Supreme Being. The Supreme Being was in the space of the group, know you or not. Now, as we move into phase 3, we're talking about mastery. So we're bringing out the core capacities. These are a lifelong learning and embodying deeper and deeper these core capacities. To the point then there is no core capacity, you are it. But in this phase, we also want to really explore and ground the impersonal principles of manifestation. And I'll speak a little bit more specific about that, but for those of you that were in the last Yoga of Manifestation, the chapter 19 of the Gita that Satri revealed just last month, that's where we're going to be basing the content for this GTP. And his revelations, my experience was that came from a very, very, very high plane and is still descending. So our attempt is actually to ground and to make palatable and digestible and practical, where we can see how these principles are playing in creation, because we're part of this creation. We can't get out of Dodge anymore. We need to come. We need to be dynamic. We need to manifest the highest expression that we have access to. So the modalities for this mastery, I'll speak more in detail a little bit ahead, so I'm not going to focus on that now. But the intention is you. You know, there's the incarnation force, there's the Supreme Being, and now is you. Now, it has always been in you, but in you in capital letters. You as the divine being that you are. You as the greatest expression of why you took a birth. So that is still forming exactly the naming and how we're going to define that intention, but just to give you a flavor, it's really grounded and integrating the impersonal universal principles with the person of us. Because we need both. We need the human and the divine, two sides of the same coin. We cannot leave anyone behind. And it's time, we can't lose time anymore. You know, it's very clear. We need to embody this. We need to become it. We need to come out of the shell of our limited self. We need to leap. Break free. The spirit wants to break free in this matter, in this dimension. So that's the overall arch. So I think it helps when we give a context that this is taking us somewhere. And that's our intention. What's going to happen between here and now? And then we don't know. Whatever comes up actually is clearing up the way for this intention to manifest. Be sure. Be you in dejection, having hard times, or be you in bliss. Whatever happens, if it is aligned with the original intention, cannot not happen. So the content for this phase, just very briefly, the principles of manifestation, the impersonal universal principles. They are independent of the person of us. They are what is the scaffolding of creation, is the scaffolding of life. And we're going to be bringing this forward in this program to the 5 weeks. So the original intent and the call. We are the original intent. We are that will to be. The will to be here, to experience, to evolve, to awaken, to know our true self. It comes from the truth, comes from prior of the Supreme Being. And the call, there is a call now, there's a cry of the mother. Many of us are in touch with this cry. We need to bring that original intent to this cry, to this call. The aspect of devotion, you know, often we talk about devotions as if we are devoted to something else outside ourselves. But the whole creation actually is an act of devotion. We as a spirit, we took a body out of devotion. to lift matter, to lift the mother. There's only devotion happening everywhere. You see everybody, whatever is happening to serve, to make you be here. Every little piece, if that's not devotion. It is the love that sustains the fabric of this existence. So in one sense, it is an impersonal universal principle. And then obviously there is the personal one that is actually an incredible doorway for each one of us. And then the time and space and duality and causality. In truth, we are beyond time, we are beyond space. We are beyond duality and we are beyond causality. Yet, to manifest in this creation, we need to act within the framework of these principles. You cannot not act within the time and the space and duality and causality. So bringing an understanding and how to master these principles. So be in it, but not off it. And that's what we're going to be exploring. The gunas have a very strong, they are actually the cause of duality and causality and time and space. Action in the body. We need to take action. Action is happening everywhere too, know you or not. Our body is actually acting all the time, or our heart is beating, our lungs are breathing. And the body, you can't act without the body. The speech is an action. It's not talk about just physical action. A thought is an action. So action and the body, impersonal principles. And then the perfect perfection. What is perfect perfection? Has nothing to do with what's happening outside of us. It's a state of consciousness. It's an inner state of consciousness. At the end of the day, everything is inside of us. Everything is inside of us. And everything that is appearing outside is a showing for us to become this perfect perfection. Has nothing to do with succeeding or failing. Absolutely nothing to do with that. Again, the 6 core capacities, for those of you that think this, again, the 6 core capacities, yes, again and again and again. Align with purpose. When we align ourselves with this greater purpose, our life has a meaning. We're not caught in the endless drama of Prakriti. We live for that purpose. That purpose lives inside of us. Invoke the Sat force, the force of the Supreme Being. It's you. It's an expression of who you are. Being immediacy, being the vulnerability of every moment, in the shakiness of every moment. Take the leap. We can't hide anymore. No matter what happens, take the leap. Be raw, be open, be vulnerable. Every time that somebody is open and vulnerable with us, we are touched. We're touched. We are called to also to be vulnerable. Be at cause. We can make a whole phase of GTP3 on the be at cause. That would solve 99.9% of all problems. If we can come to cause. If we can see where we're in cause and effect. And we can withdraw that reaction that sometimes can be so impulsive. Be at cause is where we reclaim our authority, our inner authority, the authority of our being, not the ego. The ego, the least thing it wants is come to cause. It lives out of projection by passing. We're looking to come to cause. Being affinity, this fellowship, this friendship that we have. The ability to actually hold each other in this unfolding, no matter what is raging inside of us, inside of others. What does that? Devotion. The seeing in each one of us that there is that same principle that lives each one of us. And act for the highest good, of course, every time that, anytime that you really embody one of the core capacities, automatically you embody all. you're aligned with purpose, you will be always acting for the highest good. Invoke the Sat force, always the highest good. Immediacy, be at cause and finish. So they're all, we weave all these things together because we each have different systems. So one can hit a spot in me that other does not hit as strongly. So, but in one sense, we're all talking about the same thing here. About coming more and more and embodying the greater truth and love that we are. So we're in a boat together. And one of the intentions also for this phase is that we create this kind of like fellowship. Has always been the fellowship there, but we're looking more actually for a program that's less intense in terms of schedule. GTP2 was really the ground, and everyone survived. And now we went through the funnel. And now what we want to give more space for whatever is there to come through you. Still, structure will always play a role in our programs. Structure is need, is where our ego bounces against and eventually surrenders. And then something even greater can come through. Next, please. Okay, so just very briefly, the components of this coming phase. So as many of you saw, the phase 1 and phase 2, for instance, there was a main session where the presentation was done by the core team and the support team. And then you co-create the program by leading the study groups, the breakout groups, and the mentoring and so forth. But in GTP phase 3, we will be inviting, is our intention, each one of you that will be in the program to actually co-create and co-facilitate those main sessions with the core team and with the support team. So it is a leap. We're going to be presenting and bringing that to the whole group. And I assure you in that there is a small mini GTP that happens just in your preparation to present that. I have watched that with every single one that present the topic in all the GTPs. It's a delight to see, and then a delight to see what comes forward. So I really look forward to seeing, whoever is going to be in GTP phase 3, to see you bringing forth who you are. It's amazing what comes through you. It's a transmission that I can't put in words. So the intention is for you now to join us on that main session and presenting to the group. And our intention is actually to go deep into those topics so it becomes more practical and I live the reality. So it's not that you're going to be, I can present whatever you want. No, there is a structure because we want a deepening in those. It's really not about performance. It's really about we coming out of the way and really showing up as naked and as vulnerable as we can, because it is in those moments that the Supreme is going to be manifested. Small groups and our inquiry breakout groups, as these are a modality that has become so rich in the new Dharma programs. We see so much happen on those small groups through the holder of space and through the participants. We really see how they work and how the force does the work, and how with each other we have that bouncing effect that we learn with each other. And we actually, it's a deeper unfolding for each one of us as we gather in the immediacy and vulnerability and intention of those groups. We're going to be bringing back the mentoring practice that it is always a winner in the programs. When we collect the survey, it's always the one that a lot of people benefit from it. So we want really give you the opportunity to keep enriching your skills in that dyad where actually you show up in service of the other. And many of you see much grow during that mentoring practice with peers. There's something else I want to bring about down. Maybe we'll come back. Also, we're going to be bringing back the elementals, because that is a technique that it really helps the body, the physical body and the subtle body, to open and become more capable of receiving these universal forces. We are intending that the elemental practice be only a group practice, in the sense that we'd like for all of you that will be in the GTP3 to have complete all the series of the elementals. So the ones that just did the first 3 elementals in GTP2, if you can't connect to the trainer and do the last 2, would be great, because then we can just do as a group. And then we will also allow for a more spacious program for you in the GTP3. Because if you haven't done that, then you need to practice every day, and that adds a layer of intensity to you in your schedule. If you're not able to do it, we'll find a way, but you'll not be allowed to be in the boost elemental practice, where we all come together and do once a week that elemental boost. And then, as usual, we'll have reflection process across modalities by trainers and facilitators. The reflection process is something that Satri thinks is one of the most valuable things that we can offer, because we actually see ourselves through the lens of others. And of course, we are all working through our structures. So sometimes some reflections might be more accurate than others, but there is always a kernel of truth there. And also our ability to be open to receive a reflection is a great gift. And as long as it comes with that intentionality for love and truth, we always serve. So the reflection process is something that we have been polishing over the years. It has been a long journey polishing. So we're still working out how it can be more effective. And so we might have a little bit of change, but we'll be there, because that's how we can actually call each other up in the intent of a greater unfolding, a more purifying and clearing of the system. And just very briefly, I'll just speak a little bit about the schedule now. So we'll go by week. So we have 5 weeks, and each week is going to be dedicated to a specific topic, because, like I said, we want to deepen, we want to make it practical, we want to embody this. We want to understand at the deepest level that we can. So it becomes, we can hold whatever happens outside and inside of us with a greater capacity. So those topics might change a little bit. We're still developing the material. It has been quite challenging to ground the newest revelation of Satri. It feels that we're still working on that, and that's where our GTP, the GTP of the core team, have already started. But so we go by week. Every week we're going to be intended on a topic. And then on Mondays and Wednesdays, except for the first week, because that's where we're introducing and guiding and guidelines and give you some more of the framework, what to bring. But then Monday and Wednesday actually are GTP sessions. From Pacific time is going to be 10 to 12:30. We're hoping that 2 to 2.5 hours max is what we're going to have. But these are going to be sessions that are going to be presented by the core team, the support team, and the facilitators, the participants of the GTP3. And we have limited time, limited space this time. We're only taking 35 of you because of the dynamic of the program. But that is still something that we're going to have to ground more once we have all the applications and we know exactly how many people are going to be. Ideally, we like to give as many opportunities as possible for you, because mastery happens through doing. How you become good at something by repeating over and over and over again and meeting what comes in the way. And then on Friday, it's going to be dedicated to the mentoring. And many of you that have done GTP2 or Spring GTP last year are familiar with that. So it's going to be mentoring with peers, and you have 2 sessions, one as a mentor, one as a mentee. And then we have 45 minutes to an hour elemental boost. So that's why we ask that if all of you can have all the elements complete, that will help us and will help you in the program. It's going to be not so demanding in terms of schedule. And then the only thing that we are actually having here designed in the program is on the week 3, on the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're going to have a SAT weekend. You know, for those of you that have done SAT weekend with SAT3 in the past, it's a 3 days. It's a mini 9-day, basically. We bring the SAT force, 2 hours sitting 3 times a day, and then a talk. Now, this SAT weekend is going to be led by GTP3. Some of the participants, some of the core team, some of the support team. So it's going to be led by us. In the past, we used to have the SAT weekends here in Washoe Valley when SAT3 was traveling. It was extremely powerful, and everybody grows with. Now, SAT3 will likely come and give the introduction of the SAT weekend, and that's when he's going to be meeting with the GTP group. So we are excited actually to have that new addition to this GTP3 program. And then as on the week 1, there is a satsang with SAT3 that's public on Friday, and there is an intensive that's public on Saturday, and also is part of the GTP3 program. As far as meditations, there is no required meditations. For those of you that have already asked or are wondering, we want to make a more open program, more space. There is the new Dharma meditation that's led by SAT3 and facilitators Monday through Saturday. Everybody is welcome and encouraged to join if you can on those meditations, but it's not required. But you know, silent sit is something that's very useful to integrate what we're learning. But we are dropping the meditation for that reason, because we want to see if we can make a more open schedule. But we are limited by the fact that we need to create opportunities so all of you can actually participate in this program. So I just put there a few contemplation questions, and that's not for you to answer anything, but it's for you to sense into your body. If you feel a pull to join this GTP3. And if yes, where is that coming from? Or is there a resistance, a fear, a trembling, anxiety, a contraction? And where is that coming from? And may I decide to join? What would be my deepest intention for joining this program? And that's not something for you to answer now. But if you do decide to join and to apply in the next few days, I said we're closing the registration September 5th. Really, because when you set the power of intention, it aligns a whole energetic field around yourself for that intention to manifest. It's more powerful than you may imagine. So are we ready to know the truth of this imperishable tree and to explore and join in this exploration? No. None of us has the whole answer. But when we come together, we can actually see the answer, the point of views from many, many directions. And that's what we want to do it. We want to create this shared wisdom where we enrich each other. We're all walking each other home. So I invite you to raise your hand if you have questions. Any questions or anything that you want to share or bring into the space, you're most welcome to ask. Or I'm sure that your question or your sharing might be the question of others. So anything is welcome here, if you have. You know, I had someone that sent me an email, and like when I said about what part of you feels a pull to join, or if you are resistance contraction. And I got an email from this beautiful soul, and the email started like the being. I mean, she was completely describing exactly where we're going to, you know, the call, the cry, the desire to serve. Beautiful. And then the next line was that part of like, am I worthy for this? Yeah, we're all worthy for this. We're all capable of this. In fact, we become capable by meeting our incapacity. Fail as you might. Lucky you, because that part that we lose, we don't need. So Anandi,
Hi.
hi, namaste. You made it.
Namaste. Yeah, I made it finally. Um, yeah, I'm happy I joined. It was really nice to hear the introduction of this. um, Actually, I've just had a practical question. During the GTP2, I think we had a mentoring Fridays as well, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Um, and I think we had the opportunity then to schedule it on Saturday or Sunday as well, and even Thursday, I think. Will that be the opportunity this time as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. So when we couple, you know, you with each other for that practice, is up to you to figure out which time works best for you. And Friday is best because we designed the program to give space for you to come out of that small group and have a day of processing, and then you have that opportunity to bring forward with the mentoring. But no, it's not. It's not tied to Friday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the best. If you cannot find a way that work for both of you, Thursday is fine too. But we do see that, and we want to have 3 times because the 3 times is almost the third becomes a charm. And but yeah, it's up to you to decide with the person to see when fits better your schedule.
Yeah,
And it's 30 minutes for those of you
perfect.
that may recall. Hmm?
Sorry, I missed you there, Satapriya.
Yeah,
I
it's 30
missed you. I have
minutes.
a very low bandwidth.
It's 30 minutes. You know, the mentoring
Mm.
practice, 30 minutes between you and your peer, both ways.
Yeah,
So it's a fairly easy to carve that time among the day. You know,
yeah,
we're not talking about 2 hour session basically. We're talking about half an hour.
yeah.
Sounds good?
Great, thank you. I'm very happy for the space in this in this
Yeah,
GTP3. Yeah.
yeah. We noticed,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, last year, the last time we were in India, we had two GTP1 back to back. So we are in Tiru, January and February, intense program Satri, intense GTP, 2 months of that. Very intense, just like GTP2 for many of you. And then Satri took a group to Rishikesh, and was a limited number, not everybody went, was a limited, and it was more spacious program. So we won the GTP3, and something also amazing happened. So that's why. So GTP2 was the grind, because we need to give you all opportunity to step up and really push away things that were in the way, and many of you went through very intense process purposefully. But now GTP3, we want more space. Yeah, we wish we could have even more space and all of you could be here because, as you know, this is going to be an in-person and online program. So there's a number of you coming here. But yeah, we do the best that we can, with the what we're intending for this program. Thank you, Lena.
Sounds perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Janek. Hello.
Namaste.
Namaste. Good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm really, that's really what I wanted to share actually. I haven't seen you since the end of GTP2, and it's such a delight to be here. I really right away felt at the crown of my head and my heart and everything. Yeah, so much joy and so much love. Um, and GTP2 was so intense for me. And I was like, I'm definitely not going into 3. And now I'm hearing there is a little bit more space, and I'm just gonna feel into it. I don't feel this really strong pull, and I don't feel any resistance either. It's just I just wanted to share that I'm happy to be here with all of you and to feel the energy again and to feel this feeling of being home. And yeah, we'll
Very,
see.
very strong. I can feel it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Mm.
And I'm sure that whatever you decide from that core of your being will serve.
Yeah.
Yet we do like to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste, Jolene.
Mine is a practical question for scheduling purposes, and that the question is around the elemental group training. Is that a set time with the entire group, or is that an individual smaller group where we'll be setting the time with that person or whoever's leading it? How is that going to work?
Yeah, we are planning to have a set time with the whole group.
Okay.
So if you look at the schedule, the schedule with the exact times are actually on the website.
Okay.
If you go on the
Right.
global training program, there is there. So there is a set time, but that set time is going to be only for those of us that have completed the whole series. So if you're not able to do that and still you are accepted into the program, the applications will go through SAT3. Then if you have not done the elementals, you cannot join the boost, the whole group. So then we'll put you with some trainer that can go through those, whatever you haven't completed yet, but you'll not be able to join the whole crew. So that's why we still have time for those of you that have not complete this month. May you apply and may you be accepted into the program. Thank you, Julian. Good question. Yeah. This way sees another, there's one less variable, and we're trying to make less moving pieces. So that's what we're going to be offering for this GTP3. Thank you. Mira, there she is recovering.
Hey, hey. Uh, I just wanted to say that I'm feeling a really big yes. Um, I'm really happy to be here, and I feel almost like I've gone through this. I remember being said, like, stay in the boat, just stay in the boat. That I feel like the last maybe weeks or maybe some time that I've had my own boat. It's also the new Dharma boat, but also very much my own boat. And now it somehow fits very well to come into the structure of the GTP. Again, it's like I had to go really deep into myself and be connected to new Dharma, but to really, really, really allow myself to feel into myself in relation to me, my particular person. And so I'm just feeling like a really big yes to joining and to applying and to hopefully joining the program. So
I'm very happy to hear that. It feels right to me. Yeah. And it is, we all need a time to take our little boat and kind of like, go deep on our little boat. But still, the big boat is going and it's dragging us. And as long as we stay aligned with purpose, then we won't drift. Because, these times are very turbulent times, very turbulent times. It's very easy to, we cannot know what's true, what is untrue. Everything is just a big mess now. So as long as we stay aligned with that purpose, that deep, long aspiration, which is always going to be aligned with the original intent because we come from that. Then we take, we take a little detour here and then we join back and it's all perfect. And going deep into ourselves is actually getting to know the imperishable tree. If you look at the body is actually a tree. The more we know of ourselves, all the bodies that we are a complex system. We're multidimensional beings. The more we get to know that, and that's the GTP3, the more we will be liberated and free, yet in the body, yet in exactly where we are. Exactly the same changes that we are. It's not about going to Arunachala and being on top of the mountain. It's being free amidst of all the chaos. That's true freedom. Like Sri Aurobindo, in the cell, in the prison. Krishna came to him, and then he saw Krishna everywhere. Or Gandhi. Thank you. Caroline.
Yes.
Hey there. Caroline is going to be doing in-person program. So she's taking the hurdles of figuring out how to get here. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's that intention in you, is that calling in you, is that purpose in you. The purpose is larger than any of our, preference and sideways and righteousness and whatever.
Being comfortable.
And uncomfortable and yeah. Waiting that the sea open up and put a red carpet for you to come. No, you're jumping the hurdles. Yeah. It's your being. It's the being that does that. Okay.
Yeah.
I got carried away.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because I just wanted to share that also, that what Mira also said about this yes, like I feel this yes deep within me, but I'm also at the same time experiencing like the unworthiness, the incapability, the fear of failure, like all of these things, holding them at the same time. And they are just, it's like being with my being and my personality at the same time, like my habits and all of these things. And I also, when I looked at the GTP1, GTP2, GTP3, it's just less resistance, more resistance, a lot of resistance. To me, it's getting more and more about yeah, I don't know what the right words are, but to me it's like some things has come a bit natural for me, like to me they have been easier, but these things that I feel I'm moving into, or we are moving into now, is something that is just there is no escape route, there is no shutting it off. It's a life, it's a way of living in another way. And I'm feeling that part of me that just wants to be comfortable and just being able to shut down and not be there all the time.
Yeah, you're exactly right what you're saying. When Jaya actually put the picture side by side, and then she said, "Oh, we're coming from the formless incarnation, a little bit of form as the supreme being, and now we're grounding the tree, right?" So yes, it is in the density of matter that all the resistance are going to show up. In transcendence, none of these are going to bother us. We're untouched by that. But that's not the work that the mother is calling us to do. The mother is calling us to lift matter, to lift consciousness. And that's the new humanity. And yeah, the resistance is going to be here in this grounded reality. And what do? We can't escape anymore. It's clear. So we meet that resistance. We hold the unworkability. We hold the fear. We hold the anxiety, knowing that they're modes of energy within the being of us, but we're not it. Because, and I experienced maybe a few weeks ago when we start first designing this phase, all the forces that are against us wanting to pierce through this work. So it is, there is forces that are opposing the manifestation of this new consciousness. And we need to meet. We need to meet, and we meet in our bodies. Because we are a product of this evolution. Our bodies, the density of the body is the evolution of nature, is the matter. And we're really looking to integrate spirit and matter. It's not just about spirit and transcendence and going in these blissful domains. It's not about just matter, which is super developed right now, right? We got all the technology that we have is all matter, has its place, but now we need to bring together. We need to balance both of them. So yeah, it's a very, very good description about less resistance, a little bit more horrible resistance. You're in the right path.
Yeah, and I also want to share that, and I don't remember now if I told you, but also when you showed up on the screen today, I just felt this part of me, like this delight that came from deep down in my body, like this, just and I just got like a reminder or something that it's, and I'm feeling it also now when I speak, like it's not so serious, it's the play, like it's like all the things I'm feeling, it's a habit or something, like it's just yeah, it's just what it is, but outside of that, or like it's just delight or playfulness and just being.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're here to hold each other in that, to the point where we can see that even the resistance and the pain and the suffering actually, in its very core, actually is Satchidananda. I was walking here just before I came, and I dropped my still water bottle full of water on my big toe, literally. And I was like, shoot. And I'm like, okay, let's merge into the pain. And there's nothing but the light. So yeah, it all becomes the current of Satchidananda. It's everything. And the mother is calling us, the cry of the mother. And I was just writing about that we're not here to be the cry. Once awakened, we are here to hear the cry and to hold for those that cannot yet hear the cry. They are the cry. And in that holding of the anguish, of the fear, of the anxiety, of the resistance, of the anger, of the hatred, we transmute that. And it becomes nectar. It becomes nectar. Because everything wants to go back to its original state. Everything. Every darkness is looking for the light. In every darkness there is the light. Okay, so we look forward to seeing you soon.
I do too.
Yeah. Thank you, Caroline. And Gabriel, maybe next time you can tag along. Thank you. Okay. So we are at our time, coming close to our time. I invite you, so these yes that I hear from some people when they came and share is a deep yes, is a yes of the being, is deep center in our core. We're not looking for a yes of the vital. That won't do it. It's the deep core seated alignment that lives in us that will make this intention to manifest. And I can feel in you. So with that, if you do have any questions that come after this sharing that we had, you have the newdharma.gtp@gmail.com. You can email us any questions that you have or any concerns or any sharing. Everything is welcome. And again, we want to close the registration September 5th because there is a 9-day. And we need to go through all the applications, and I know that many of you need scholarships, so that goes through another set of, another committee that have to look into that. So there's a lot of logistics that happen for a GTP program. Global Training Program is a training program. So it's very different than other retreats and courses that New Dharma offer. Of course, it's fully New Dharma programs, fully Satchari's program. But it's a different dynamic, as many of you have seen. So with our attempt is really to create this opportunity for us to train and open the pathway for the Supreme in us, wherever your Dharma might be in this life. If you can, show that to whoever is connected to you, that light will just impact and awaken others without you even knowing. We're carving the way, and it's an inside job. So let's just sit together for 3 minutes to close this gathering, and thank all of you that have come forth, all of you that make this meeting today. Would be posting this on my networks because there's a number of people that could not join and wanted to join. But until we see each other again, happy trails. Just 3 minutes as we ground and just be with each other again. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat Shri. All glories to the Supreme. May truth and love manifest. Namaste.